Hello and welcome everyone to another art toolkit demo, first of the fall season. And I'm just so thrilled to be here with all of you. My name is Maria Coriel Martin. I'm the founder of Art Toolkit, and I'm joined today by Jenny Jing Zhang. Hi, Jenny.
Hi everybody.
Oh, Jenny, we're so happy to have you here. I'm in Port Townsend, you're in Chicago,
Yep.
and got folks from around the world watching. Those of you live, drop a little note in the chat where you're calling in from. We love seeing all the spots around the world where we are. And Jenny, I'm just so excited to have you here. You're an artist, illustrator, and architectural designer based in
Mhm.
Chicago, and known for your lively urban sketches and playful approach to drawing. And you are sketching and exploring cities with just expressive line and color, and you teach workshops internationally and seem to really believe in making art joyful, approachable, and full of curiosity, which dovetails with so many of our values at Art Toolkit as well. So thank you for sharing your time and creativity with us today, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm very happy that I could get this chance to do this demo. And I also get this little, where is it? Little my art toolkit
Oh,
palette.
it's your palette. What sticker is on it? Looks like you've
I
got,
put my dinosaur illustration.
oh, I
This
love
is like a zoo in Chicago
it.
in the Field Museum. So yeah.
Oh, yay! And you are in our region this summer for Sketcherfest. I'm so sorry I missed meeting you in person, but sounds like you had a
Mhm.
wonderful time in the Pacific Northwest. Was it your first time here?
Yes, it's my first time in Seattle in Edmonds, and I got so inspired by this trip. Um, Especially that I got this exposure to the nature, to the beach, to the driftwoods, and I picked a few of the wood pieces from the beach. Actually, this is what I'm gonna be using today is like this little like reed stake that I found is like hollow in the middle. It's
Oh,
like
I love
I
it.
I picked this up in Edmond Beach. So I got so inspired and I started to use more and more like kind of um more cheap or more approachable tools instead of like, using fountain pen. I started to explore a lot of like deep pen, like chopsticks or bamboo wood pieces to see the different possibility, and it changed the line weight and the way how you draw a lot. So I've been enjoying it.
Oh, I love that. Well, we'd love to see a little bit of your work. I can pull
Mhm.
up your desktop, and if you want to share a little bit of some of your favorite supplies, and then I know you've got a
Sure.
little demo plan for us too. And I'm here with some goodies on my desk and just so excited to sketch along. So let me pull up my desk and, um, excuse me, pull up your desk. And those of you who are watching live, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chat. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat and I'll do my best to get to them. Oh, wow. Jenny, look at that. Tell us about that image there.
Okay, so before that, I would just want to show you this is like the sketchbook I use when I travel for most of the time. This is a Fabriano Venice series. Is like this is the um like a more like a letter size one or A4. But when it's unfold, it's like a get me a very big canvas like with A3. So this one you're saying is this I traveled to Oves in February. This is like this is done February the 7th. It's actually where Vincent van Gogh spent his last 70 days in this small town, and I put myself there and sketch on location where he painted the same church in Oves. For this, I use this, it's called Sunny Layer, the acrylic ink with
Mm.
this yellow and together with the Archimedes document ink brown. So I combine these two colors to do most of the kind of like line weight and sheets. And what's I feel really special about this one is I got a lot of raindrops. You can see the texture
Oh,
is
I
the
love that.
rain
Uh-huh.
that from that day on location. So yeah, I felt like this is a sketch that I'm really proud of. Like I felt like I made a conversation with the master on location. Um, yeah, and I want to show you more of my like a dip pen and ink works. This one is in the La Chance in Paris. So I use this kind of like combination of heavier ink lines and the lighter ink lines to make the combination to show the symmetry.
That you really get a sense of depth with the different values of the inks. Is that an acrylic ink, the dark as well, or just like a really thick applied ink?
Yeah, that's the same as the Trinities. But I can show you the trick that I'm using like a deep pen like with this shape. So instead of like only use the nib, I also use the wood stick to draw. So you see the bold lines is actually getting out from this side of the wood. Like I'm doing something like that. By doing that, it give you a lot of like unexpected moment. You somewhere is like thicker, darker, and somewhere is like lighter. So throughout like this one stroke, you could get a lot of variations of the ink.
Oh, I love that and using your tools in creative ways.
Yeah, thank you. Let me see. I think in the other sketchbook, I want to show. Um, yeah, I want to show this one. It's like this one is in Oaxaca. Mexico. I went for the Day of the Dead, that festival. I want to show you this capability of the sketchbook, like because it has a large canvas, it allow you to draw a full sketch, but sometimes you don't have enough time, so you could really break them into pieces. So you can draw like small vignette and then combine them into one page. I can show you another example. Mm. Here. So you see, I don't have enough time to do the whole page, like full page work. So I did like a little one in Milano here and another one. And then I tried to record more people I met during the trip. So this is like a good collage that with a lot of stories happening on the same page.
Yeah, it seems like that page really tells a story you can imagine of your
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that's the lovely thing about like drawing on location while you're traveling that it's like revitalize your memory for the people you met and the moment you experience. Um yeah, I'll just flip through to see a few more. This one is also in Milano. Sometimes I like to use different like use the same color but different tones. Um, it can save some time and also sometimes like it tells more than with a lot of colors.
And then that yellow hat just pops.
Yeah, that's
You've got
another trick.
a little bit of that bent perspective that I think you'll be talking to us about
Yes,
today.
yeah, we're going to talk about that. Where there's more um something like that. I find this friendship perspective is interesting. I was not really intentionally doing that at the beginning, but later, slowly, I when I revisit some of my work, and also I hear from my followers or my friends saying, "Oh, Jenny, you are doing a very special perspective," and I started to pay more attention, and I find like while you're doing this kind of like a friendship perspective, you really started to create emotion on your page to kind of making everything converge to the foreground, which is the cityscape stage, like things that are happening. So you're leading people's view towards the foreground.
And Jenny, can you share a little bit of your background getting into
Mhm.
sketching and art? Just what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So, I back to school. I was studying architecture for my undergraduate and graduate. And after graduation, I found my first job in Chicago and moved here from Texas. And I've been working for like tall tower, super tall tower design for about like 10 years. Um, yeah, it's like most of the time I was working in front of computer, doing like modeling, drafting, rendering, all those works. And then I felt like every day on the way to the work, I felt like I was always like being fascinated by the cityscape that I've been seeing, I've been viewing every day, and I really want to put them into canvas. And I got an opportunity in Italy to have this art residency in Civita di Bagnolaggio. And I felt like maybe this is an opportunity to take a gap, draw myself away from computer and focusing more about like reality or like the real life. So I started to document the thing on location in Civita. And then when I came back, I started to realize maybe there's a possibility to be a full-time artist. So I've been exploring doing like different art shows, art fair, doing murals, commissions. And now, yeah, I mean, I kind of like a more and more confident in being a full-time artist.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to point out when we pull up your camera at the end too, that wonderful mural you did on your wall behind you.
Yeah. That's my kind of first mural that is done from my home. And yeah, later I did a mural at my friend's garage, which is also their leather studio, and now they have a shop, and I did a mural for their shop. So I started to create some of these like hidden gem in Chicago that people can take photo at. Yeah. Oh, this is Seattle.
Mm.
This is the library.
Oh, I recognize that.
Yeah, and this is the Georgetown. There's a All City Cafe,
Yep,
and
there's
this is Edmonds.
yep, Edmonds Beach. And we've got
Yeah.
a question if you have some sketches online or somewhere we can post a link from your time in Italy.
Uh, Let me think. Um, yeah, I mean, I think Instagram is the best location for now if you just going um for those. I have a few here. This is actually early this year, like in January. I went back to Civita and I did a few more
Hmm.
works there. They have this tofu wall, which is like a very special material that Etruscan people found 2,500 years ago, and they use it as a building material.
Oh, your use of negative space is beautiful too. And we've got another question.
Okay.
Are all of your sketches done on site, or do you take some photos and then complete them later, or do some just with photos?
That's a good question. For most of the works you see here from the sketchbook, I've done them on location. Yeah, I would say like 95% are done on location. I might add some colors later, but not much. But for my collection, I had my first, and now it's like I have two art shows at the local gallery here. It's called Alpha Framer Studios. For those work, some of them or most of them are done actually out of the photo reference, but the photo reference is most of the time is not through one photo. It's will have multiple photos and try to compile them together. Yeah.
Your trees and your people, you've got all these really expressive lines and shapes in your art, Jenny. I feel like we could just spend a whole demo just looking at your sketchbooks. Your work is so varied, really beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
your abstraction of color and shape.
Thank
I think
you.
that can be a challenge is deciding what to simplify,
Hmm.
what to leave in, leave out.
Yeah, actually this one is kind of maybe could be inspiring that I actually did just a blob of like yellow color here, and later I started to define shapes through some colors. I gotta show you during my demo that I find it super helpful to just lay out some colors on the page before you draw lines. It will build up your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing
Mhm.
these.
You're welcome. Yeah, this is Chicago. This is actually the same theater we're gonna draw together today. The Chicago Theater, and you could see like for the time that I do work on location, I'm not only like focusing on the landmarks. And I care more about what's happening on the streetscape. Like here, I found those construction workers. I find it super interesting. So in this case, I put them into the foreground, and the theater itself is kind of like a backdrop.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh,
So
well,
it's wrong. Yeah. And I like drawing musicians. I always like to sketch musicians, and I like more to sketch them on live, and because they're relatively stable, not too much motion when they perform. So yeah, I have enough time to capture the gestures.
and then you have the nice music as your
Yeah,
back.
exactly. That's a plus. Yeah.
Well, we've got some more questions, and
Mhm.
I think some we'll speak to in your demo about making the arched composition and then the watercolor first and ink techniques. But there's one question that you might speak to before we jump into the demo. Do you have
Mhm.
tips on being quick enough to finish like your sketches on site, especially one where you are bending the perspective, doing some of that detail?
Mhm. That's another thing. I like to travel by myself. So I have most of the time I have a control of time. I could budget more or less. I like to travel more like a local. Like have I prefer in general I prefer to stay in one place for a week at least rather than spending the week covering 3 or 4 cities. I prefer to spend more time on one location. So actually, yeah, my main purpose is kind of through Sketchbook to explore the city. So most of the time I would have enough time. If there is a case that I really, in a hustle that if that's the case that yeah, sometimes I take a photo to use it as a reference. But for some of the places, maybe there is not a very good position for me to sit on. Like if it's like on a staircase or somewhere I felt like it's very hard to do urban sketching, I will take a photo and do it later. Yeah, I do both. Yeah. Shall we do the demo
I
or?
think so. And I'm just looking at this nice photo that you provided for reference, and that has that same Chicago theater I think you just showed us. Am I right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Construction in front.
Yep.
And those of you watching, if you haven't seen it yet, the link should be in the description to the video on YouTube. Should link to this image that Jenny's provided, right, which is there on her desktop.
Shall I just start or?
Sure, let's dive in.
Okay, so I choose this cityscape because this has this landmark in Chicago, the Chicago Theater, and also like I like to find places having the components I'm looking for, like foreground, uh, like motion, and also a few of the buildings. Um, it will be really lovely if the light is good. Like there's like a directional light, and some of the part is late and some part are in the shadow. Um, and okay, so I gotta start. You guys can see the photo, so show my canvas. Like I
Jenny,
mentioned,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just have one comment that for someone like me, this photo you provided looks so a little overwhelming.
yeah.
All these buildings and all these things going on. So I'm really
Uh-huh.
how you approach it.
Mhm.
I'm such a landscape person, and I'm like, I don't see a single tree in this image, I think. So
No.
you've chosen something that to me personally feels a little overwhelming. So you're pushing my
Mhm.
comfort zone in a good way. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a little overwhelming. I agree with that. So yeah, I gotta show you a way that through observing or through like putting color first, line second, I might make it easier,
Okay.
maybe. So yeah, like I know like some of you might be more familiar with perspective, some of you might less, but let's kind of like through away or your previous knowledge and like just like focusing on what you see here. So I'm gonna start it from putting some colors. Uh, like so I'm gonna start it with like some of this kind of darker color, like which kind of like where the shadows is, like you see like here, there's a big chunk of shadow here, uh, at the building, right? Like you could easily capture the shadow part. So I'm gonna put this shadow first instead of like the shape or anything. So I'm just trying to show the shadow and show a little bit of this
And is that moon glow that
everything.
you're painting with?
Ex Excuse me?
Is that the moon glow color you're painting with
Yes,
here?
yes. Yeah, exactly. I love this color so much. And at the beginning, like try not to like put too strong color. Try to add like a little bit more water to make it a little watering. And then from here, I started getting a little bit more detail. Like I'll get like a red color to relatively locating the sun. So you see, it's not that complicated. Just by some simple strokes, you already have quite a few of the layout here. You see, like you kind of like have a very good understanding of almost everything here. Because I know my building is here. I know this is my foreground. Maybe I just spend a little more of the colors here to draw this arch, like this subway arch. And I instead of like leaning inwards, I try to make it a little outwards. It's kind of like the friendship perspective. And I know there is a lady like kind of in the foreground. And then I'm gonna uh, put a little bit more color on like this building facade. Mhm. And just define a few more buildings here.
So some of these shapes, you're kind of, it seems like you're sort of intuitively doing a bit of your bending as
Yeah,
you explore.
yes. Mm-hmm. Um, but no worry about the accuracy at this point. We're gonna use the line work to adjust that as how we want. But at the beginning, I'm trying to just laying out a few shapes. I might shift the location later based on how I feel like, yeah, the relative position of each thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What I like to do is when I do the line works, it's usually before the watercolor dries, so you could get some of the dynamic moment. I'm gonna use the Tremendous document ink and this Robert Oster ink. One is the brown color, one is called a turquoise. Can you guys see? It's like a kind of like a also a brown color, like a reddish blue brown color.
Mm. Uh-huh.
Um, And this one is waterproof, and this one is actually water soluble. Sometimes the water soluble ink could make things more interesting. Um, with some of this blending moment. Uh, let's let's start. So I'm gonna use this reed to like just dip in, and I'm gonna start to show you how I draw lines. So here I'm gonna start from the sun.
And that's that brown ink you were showing?
Yeah, it's the Tremendous. Yeah.
Yes.
So you see, when you draw the lines, like no need to follow the colors that you put initially. I paid like some are kind of like follow the line, but some I'd like to leave some of the gaps. So, it's showing this dynamic shape. And then here, uh, started to draw a little bit here. So you see, what I like is it gave you some really like unexpected result. Like here, it's not part of my plan, but it's just happening on the paper, which is really nice.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so we can work with that later by adding some of the either the pastel or marker that is some of the mask to uh cover a little bit if you feel like it's too raw. But stuff like this is actually making you more excited. It's not under control, right? I'm gonna continue. So it started, your eyes started to reference things from what you already put onto the paper.
Seems like your start with the color and then some of this wet ink on wet that you're just opening yourself up to some looseness and not starting out too rigid.
Exactly. So, doing that. And also with the reed, depending on the angle that you're using, sometimes it's like it could be getting a thinner line, some more thicker. Um, yeah, I'm like when I draw, I'm kind of like a jumping around. I'm not really follow a direction or um, an order. Kind of like this feeling to jumping around. Um,
So with this, it seems like the picture you had a little bit of a starting point to kind of be a grounding reference, like that red
mhm.
sign. So you can build off to the left, build off to the right. Is that an approach you often use when sketching, kind of find a little starting point to build off of?
Yep. Actually, and when you do it on location, you got more excitement because things are all in motion. It's not like stay still, right?
Uh-huh.
So with those things, like I most of the time I started with the color and then I started from the building and draw the building out, kind of like from top to the bottom. But at this moment, there might be a mother holding a baby passing through. I felt like, oh, that's lovely. Or is when I was in Milano, I felt like there's like fashion ladies walking by me. It's like really those people fit into the vibe in the cityscape. And at the moment, I would just stop and immediately jump to the foreground. So I'm kind of like working back and forth.
And Jenny, we've got a couple questions from the chat about sort of what you're envisioning in your head with this fan perspective in terms
Mhm.
of um, thinking about how you're warping it as you're imagining it, or if you have kind
Um,
of a bending arch in your head of, off to the right, off to the left. I imagine you're so intuitive now as you work on these. What's going on in your head?
yeah, I mean, actually, I have like a formula to how to achieve the friendship perspective. It's a little hard to cover everything today, through an hour. But I do have like this kind of not like a formula, but like a way to I'm gonna talk through like if I really like you give me like 4 hours, I'll talk through about the traditional perspective, like this is kind of like a 1 point perspective, right? And through the traditional 1 point perspective, how I could started to make some of the line started to linear and then converge them into like 1 point. Does that make sense?
I'm starting to think we might need to have you back for a full workshop sometime, Jen.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's like you need to build up like from some of the basic knowledge from the traditional perspective to understand the eye level, vanishing point, all that, and then you can start it to make it whimsical. But I would say like, even though I'm doing this fan shape perspective or some people call it umbrella perspective, it's like not like quite. It's not like you're just bending the grid to get it. You still have some like flexibility or freedom to make things more interesting. You know what I mean? Like something like that. So yeah, I'm just kind of like keep doing that, but I have this thing in my mind is that, like, vertical line is not always vertical. It started to tilting to make it this more playful. But you kind of follow me with like all the big shapes, right? I'm just kind of finishing one after another. Um,
It seems
and
also, Jenny, that we can just play with things tilting in different directions and
yes,
be a little more loose about where they are. I feel like
yep,
perspective can sometimes feel like pressure to get it perfect.
yeah. And many people asking me about the windows. We got tons of windows in Chicago. So like stuff like that, I would suggest like still use the color first and line second technique. Like here, we got like array of windows on this facade. So I gotta stop like doing the line work, but this, again, I started to put more colors first. This is like a little bit greenish blue. You see, with the watercolor, it's easier to helping you define the shape and find the location of each thing. If imagine if you're using like line work but not watercolor, that you might get lost soon. But with like one stroke is like one window, that just make it easier, right? And from there, it's kind of easier. I got like some like thinner nib, and I'm gonna show you the other ink. This ink is kind of more liquidish. It's kind of like a stitching the watercolor you had together with like fireworks. And it's just a lot of fun to see how the ink ran into different colors here. You see, like I want to move it closer so you can see the quality of the lines
Mm,
when it's like running through and when it's running on the dry paper, it gives you different quality.
I love that. It seems like there's an openness to just seeing what happens with the beauty of the paint and the ink,
Yeah.
giving us permission to be a little bit messy.
Yeah, but like I kind of like that excitement on site. Sometimes you could feel like, oh, I got like a bored, but then the ink through the watercolor started to give you more excitement. Um, you see like this color is a little different from the other, but that's another thing. Sometimes you could try to choose 2 to 3 different inks to work on site. It can create another um interesting, playful without. Okay, so the building has a lot of details. We could just keep working on it. Um, but I want to show you more aspects since we're here to do the demo. Like instead of finishing all the details in the building, I'm gonna start to draw this people and show you my trick about drawing people. Is that better?
Sounds wonderful. I'm just enjoying
Okay.
everything you're drawing, as is, I think, everybody else, Jenny.
Okay. Okay. Because I think I showed you some of the structures that keep working on detail is kind of not that hard for everybody, I believe. But like drawing people is another challenge. So I'm gonna show you my little trick. My trick is still like color first, line second. Um, but for the color, like here, I'm gonna start it with like this lady's head. First, just get the like hair color. That's another thing that I usually do, that when I draw people, I'm not like putting the line works everywhere. I just choose a few locations to do the line work. Let's see if I can find an example. Like this. If you see this person I'm drawing here, it's not like just having the lines everywhere, but instead, for the closing part, there's no outline, it's just a color blob. So I think for drawing people, my trick is to alter where you put lines and where you leave only the shape of the color. It could make it more interesting. Like look at the legs. There's no outstroke, like outline of the leg, but only the color. Okay, so I did the kind of the head of the person, and then here most of the time I like to draw the skin first, because the skin can show most of the gestures. So you see the arm, and this person kind of like only have the face and the arm is like exposed, and the rest is kind of like covered. But in this case, I might do the backpack with the color. Another trick for people is you can change color of their clothes as needed, as how it could serve better to your drawing. So you see, with some of the simple strokes, you started to understand the proportion and the gesture of the people, and from here you could start it to do the line work. And again to
Jenny, with your ink color first and then
Mhm.
ink, is this common that on a page you might kind of work your way around? So you do like color and ink for some buildings and then color and then ink for some people. So you don't sort of do the whole composition color and then ink everything, but kind of work your way more piecemeal sometimes.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's correct. Yeah, I don't like to finish all the line work the start to color. I feel like it's more interesting to just alter it. And sometimes it's like the color will dry. I would rather to just keep working on it till like like till it's um till it's when it's still wet, I put the line works. That's what I mean. So you see, I how like some of the shapes, and then I put the rest of the people with the ink lines. So it's sort of like using the line works to stitching the color blobs together to form this person. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sort of you've got some of the big shapes and then you help define
Yeah,
the other spaces with line.
exactly. And then I'm gonna draw the car behind it. This red pen is a little thicker. If we want to get the center lines, we can go with some other dip pen. Uh, yeah, and of course you can use a dip pen, like the real dip pen. Those are also like, can get you very fine lines. Draw the car. Um, yeah, that's another thing I like this photo is like really show all the elements. Mm, the car, but no trees. Sorry.
I'm enjoying seeing as you're developing this composition, Jenny, how your choice
Oh,
different elements is starting to put together a scene where it's not everything in this picture, but some of these sort of
mhm.
defining elements.
That's another thing that like you could really because you work like not all together, so uh you could do the constant judgment or constant uh, decision that you can make throughout the process. Like maybe I want to draw another person here that they're or cars, and I want to. So you could make a lot of changes as you work on it.
And yeah, that flexibility seems like it makes a ton of sense being outside
Hmm.
and reacting to
Yeah.
everything around you.
Yeah, so I started to draw the cars, and the interesting thing is, I didn't do the outline of the person's head, and then the car is with lines, so there is a good rhythm, the color line. And for the reed or wood or some of the natural material, you will be amazed how much ink it can hold. Like you don't really need to constantly dip into the ink. And sometimes if you draw from this from a reference photo, I prefer to use the iPad for the reference photo. You can always zoom in if you couldn't read some of the details. Yep.
I like how the color shapes behind the line are a little abstracted also with some of that shadow
Uh-huh.
and color.
Yeah, like something like this. It's very hard to plan. Like, I want some ink. It's just as natural how the ink, when you touch the paper, that it's just blending in with the watercolor. I think it's very natural, but make it interesting. Yeah. And I could just keep going. And like, for example, now I have a lot of resources to work with, and then there is a tower behind this signage. Still, I could come back and put color on it. Sometimes you can use a little like subjective color to make your drawing more interesting. Like here, I use a more bluish color here. Yeah, there was yellow on the other side too.
Oh, I see. That's that little tower behind.
Yeah, this tower here. And then there's a tower here, kind of adjacent to it. You could start to tell the initiate color blob we put here is not very accurate. And now it's the opportunity to make it like adjust that shape. Um, could use a deep pen here. Use the deep pen to draw the other tower. So try to adjust the shape of it. Another interesting thing is like when you do the deep pen ink, I'm gonna show you a little closer. You see, like with this water soluble ink, when it's on the dry paper, it has a like kind of thin, clean lines. But when it's run into the water, it started to have a little bit blending. So even like the single line, it has different line quality, make it more interesting.
So if you were on a desert island and you had to choose just like 3 tools to bring, what would be your tools, Jenny?
If I'm in the desert island, there's no city structure, right?
Okay, maybe you're in a city, but you can only have two
Uh,
three tools.
actually, to be honest, I changed tools. Like I use like quite a bit different tools. I like to exploring new things. Like whenever I feel like I stuck somewhere, I'd like to try some new material to fresh my mind. So I've been trying a lot of different things, but currently I really like this deep pen and ink or chopsticks or something like I could dip with ink. And I like embrace this beauty of the line quality of the ink.
Do you
What are you
find
gonna what are you gonna bring?
Oh, I was just going to ask you, do you find when you're traveling that
Mhm.
that's an opportunity to like try some new supplies, so you tend to be kind of consistent on a trip, or do you just have a bunch of goodies and then when you're going out, you're like, okay, I'll bring this and this and this.
Mm,
Is what to use on a in any
I
given.
I'm kind of like go very random for that. Like I at the airport in Rome, I find this nice Fabriano store, and I got a kind of like a color pencil from them there. And for the following days, I've been using that.
Oh,
So
that's
it could be
cool.
really random.
Well, sometimes things can help inspire us to try, like,
Yeah, for
to
sure.
invite play. It seems like you really enjoy play, and that comes across so much with everything you're showing us here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like the trip to Edmonds. I got so inspired by the beach. Just next time you go, like fetch some.
And I like that you don't need really necessarily complicated supplies.
No, no, yeah. I like sometimes I like the more like, affordable material that you don't have a lot of pressure, you know. Still today I prefer to use like cheaper paper. Um, you don't feel that pressure. So now like a line first, color first, line second, but after the line, I could go back to add more colors, like to make the contrast stronger. So it's like a working back and forth. And sometimes if you feel like it's a background, or it's not, um, something you want to be pop out, something like that, you could started to use other materials like here for this building. Since it's like already in the back, that maybe I could use color pencil or pastel to do the to do the detail. but there's a lot of details, so I still use the watercolor because watercolor give you like quicker without like border lines. So you could also draw lines with watercolor. So that's another trick.
Got a nice comment that with the buildings and the background kind of fan filled out, and then the figure in the foreground was sort of the more normal perspective. Everything just has a lot of depth. And I agree.
Yeah,
All your simple lines, or it's not simple, but all these different forms coming together really have a lot of depth now, Jenny.
thank you. Yeah, that's something like as I mentioned before, like this fan shape started to put your attention to the foreground, where it's kind of the stage, right? Like the really interesting story happening on the foreground.
I appreciate too with these buildings how simple you're keeping their forms. You're making them a lot less intimidating. When I go back and look at the
That's
picture,
good.
I
That's
think,
that's
oh,
like
oh, good. Like just the outer contour and these simple windows you're doing with the brush feels really
Mhm.
accessible.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do something like as complicated as this, you might be able to do most of other cityscape because yeah, Chicago is like, could be very complex city
I like
view with a lot of windows.
I like those the greenish bluish windows you're doing too. That captures that
Yeah,
shade
try
of
to
green color.
do a little bit like dynamic, not like using the same color. When I teach students, I always see like, I don't need to see your drawing. I just see the pace, like how often you lift your head to look at things. If you have like a more frequent pace, that means you're really observing, you're really looking at things. That means like, you're not making things up. But if you
Mm.
always like only focus on your paper, most likely something's wrong,
What a good observation.
right? So yeah, this is the interesting thing about the mixed media. You could use different materials to kind of like create different dynamic. Yeah, and there is like darker building here. Just add.
Do you find you usually work with a larger brush just to be more shape-based, or do you have any little tiny brushes with
It depends. Like this brush is perfect. I think it's the size 10, yeah. South is size 10 Escoda Perlar. This one is perfect for this canvas. But if I'm working on a larger canvas, I'm gonna use I have a 12 size 12 silver black velvet. This one I use a bigger one. I also have small brushes, but since nowadays I use dip pen a lot, so for more like a detailed, delicate work, I use the brush. I use the dip pen more. So it really depends. But you see, like this ink is like kind of water soluble, so it's also creates some of the interesting blending here.
Oh, this is so much fun to sketch and just let ink bleed. I'm having fun here painting along. I hope other people are. And if you haven't had time yet to pick up your supplies,
Yeah,
hope you can.
and I really suggest start from like the one time use chopsticks.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, they're so easy. Like just go to Chinatown. um, they're they're so easy to acquire and cost nothing but powerful.
Yeah, many years ago, I think this was in like 2004, I was going
Mhm.
through security and I had all these little, I had some dip pens and all my nibs in a little container
Mhm.
that I was carrying on the airplane. And security at the time said, no, 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 these are too sharp. And they took away all my nibs. So I thought,
Oh.
well, I guess I'm just gonna have to get a chopstick. So for the rest of that trip, I painted with a chopstick.
Uh,
So fun, just like you said, they're so accessible.
yeah, yeah. Or fetch some. some tools on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's like open a new door. You can draw with stone, with um sand, maybe all the materials. Another trick that I usually use is I call it triangle composition. So I don't really go forever to each side. I sort of like form a triangle shape. I felt like the leaving the black space is really helpful.
It's really helpful to see your hands on the paper like that. Can you just do that one more time? Kind of show us the shape you're envisioning,
Yeah,
the
the
triangle?
fan shape, yeah,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Hmm.
Jenny, our time has been flying by. Can you, as you are sketching a little bit more, talk about some of the different ways people can stay connected with you and some of
Okay.
the things you're working on or have coming up?
Hmm. So yeah, you can always track my latest work through my Instagram page. I also have a website called jingsketchbook.com. You could see my art show there, and also I have my some of my originals and prints available there. Um, Also, I'm doing like workshops on Vivify. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna have an upcoming class in November. That one is called from chaos to composition. So I'm gonna talk through different component, how to draw people, how to draw trees, how to combine things together to make a good composition. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific. And you've got some other travel adventures coming up, possibly.
I like to escape from Chicago coldness in winter to Italy. Yeah, yeah, almost a routine now. Like every year, for the winter, I'll go to Italy, and I like something like I like to plan things randomly. So I'll get to Italy first, and then I'll start to plan the rest of the trip.
Oh, I look forward to following and seeing where you end up
Yeah, I
during
mean,
the
I
winter.
was in Porto this past February. Um, I decided to explore there. It's for my first time to Portugal. Yeah, but like you see, like I can keep going to draw things on both sides, but you see kind of most of my process and tricks. And after this, I'm gonna add more watercolor to some of the locations. Um,
I think this brings up
and
the question that we all face all the time, which
mhm,
is
where to
any
stop?
tips for knowing, yes, when something's
I answered that question many times. So
done.
my suggestion is make sure you take constant photos during your process. Like maybe you feel like you're 50% down, take a photo. 6% down, take a photo, 7%, 100%. So like by end of the drawing, you will have like 5, 6 photos and put them all together, and you can start to teach yourself where the best procedure to stop. My experience is normally the last one is not the best one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
My personal rule of thumb is when I start feeling like the marks I'm making are no longer making a difference, I'm getting a little fiddly and should stop.
Mm, yeah.
Oh,
But you
oh,
can see like I started to add colors, and still when you add color, not to like follow the lines, not like just a coloring book. Don't do that. Like still try to create dynamic, leave gaps to make it more interesting.
well, Jenny, this has just been
Mhm.
terrifically delightful and inspiring
Oh,
to see more of your
yeah.
work, learn more about you, and sketch with you. I just think your
Yes.
quality of line and energy and gesture and just the obvious joy that you take and your explorations on paper, it's just contagious. Um, we'd
Thank
love
you.
to see if you keep finishing this sketch. We'd love to see it, and I will post it in our blog along with this video
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna
to
finish
share with
it.
everybody. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'll pull us back up a moment and just want to
Okay.
say thank you to, oh, look at that up close. There's a
Yeah,
wonderful
try.
view.
Yay.
I'll pull your face back up and I'll pull mine up and just say goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
And I think we should talk about maybe some workshop ideas if you'd ever like teach with us.
Yeah, that will
I
be
could paint,
that will like offer more details.
I could paint for hours more
Oh,
with you.
wow.
Um,
Very nice. Yeah, you got
I,
the very beautiful colors. Yeah,
I
love
felt
it.
like some of my lines were a little thicker than I wanted them to be, but I had so much fun.
That's the same feeling I have here. I feel like a little thicker than I expected. Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, everybody who joined
Yeah.
us. Thank
Thank
you
you, everybody.
so much. And Jenny, really look forward to continuing to follow your work and just thank you again. Oh, and in case everyone hasn't noticed, point out your mural in the background.
Oh yeah. This is the mural I did. It's like a Chicago landmarks.
Oh, I
Oh, also I think we have like a promotion for your brand.
oh.
There is like I think there is a code, Jenny 10. If you use that, you will get a certain discount at the product at our token.
We'll go ahead and
I
post that.
gotta post it on my Instagram with more details. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. All right, have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, Jenny, thank you,
You
thank you.
like it? Okay.